Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? It's another episode of Sang Lucci TV. It's been a while here. Our man Kenny has been on vacation, man. So, first, let's start with some stories from vacation, and then we'll get into this Netflix. Kenny, what's going on, man?
Chilling. Got a nice tan. Feeling good.
Dude, so, I mean, you're pretty white. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't tell that you have a tan right there. I mean, you look red. You
Really?
look red.
All right. Reddish brown. Yeah, I got a. It's
Yeah,
pretty
you
good.
know.
I got some Argentinian blood in me, so I get tan pretty good.
The Argentinian Jew.
That's
That's
right.
good right there. That's good right there. All right, so let's roll into this Netflix, man. What's going on? Did you have any positions on this, guys? Netflix is up a considerable amount after hours. Q1 revenue jumped 24%. I guess they missed on earnings, but subscribers went up too. So Netflix is up about what, 50 points here? She's trading at about 532, closed at 475. So that's a good 50 points right there. It seems like if we open up here tomorrow, everybody who's buying calls is going to make money. I can't believe it. I really thought they were going to screw everybody in this one, and it was just going to be preem crush. You know what I'm saying? Like that IV crush where this thing would have just opened at $500 tomorrow and everybody gets smoked. But apparently Goldman Sachs was right on that upgrade to what, 530, 540. This is a big deal, man. This is a big stock, man.
Yeah. I think this was the most publicly bullish call across the board. Everybody was saying buy this thing before the earnings report, which is, just by nature, it's just not a good idea to get ahead of something like this. But my God.
Well, before the previous earnings report, you guys remember this stock was getting beaten down. Market was just kind of lackluster, and it ripped a good maybe 40 points pre-earnings, and then opened up almost another 100 points. So it was similar in the sense to what happened before, except this time we rallied maybe 70 points into the earnings. And now we're jumping up another 50. Like, these Momo names are fucking incredible. And you got to think, you remember Reed Hastings when the stock was at $60, and he was talking about splitting the company up into Quickster, the DVD business, and then Netflix, the streaming business. I mean, $60 now to 500 and change, man. I mean, this guy, what a fucking ride, man. What a ride on this Netflix, bro.
It's also a combination. It's kind of like the Priceline effect too. Nobody wants to believe it. I'm sure people get short and then they have to cover it and it feeds on itself and that kind of thing.
Right.
But also, I mean, it's not a. This is now This is internet 1999 all over again. It's not about how much money they make. It's just about, do we have more people watching? Eventually, it's all going to translate to money somewhere, somehow. Like
absolutely, and as long as that road keeps going, valuations are going to keep getting more and more ridiculous. Bro, have you watched that show Silicon Valley? Have you watched that shit at all?
That's the best show on TV. Nobody.
Yo, that shit is hilarious, man. It is hilarious. So a lot of these scenarios that you see play out, as far as like, finance or internet companies going public, you'll see a lot of that. You saw a lot of that on episode 1 here, that they aired the other day. So, dude, it's a pretty good show. It's a pretty good show, man.
Yeah, it's really funny.
All right, so let's move on here to oil and gas. Kenny has been big on oil and gas and the materials as well for quite some time. He's the trader, United States Steel, USO, all those bullshit 3 times levered ETFs, and then as well as the VIX. So Kenny, what's going on in that world? Obviously today we saw a huge push into those names, oil and gas. So you got names like APC, ExxonMobil, Chevron, SWN, like all these energy names, all these oil gas names putting in monster 3% to 5% moves. What's your take, man? Did you play any of it? What's going on? The chat room here caught a bunch of them. SWN in particular, that was a big one for the chat room.
I don't even know SWN, but I was sticking with the same guys as I was in prior. I've been in USO from the bottom. I just happened to catch it. Sadly, I didn't add to anything. But what I was saying is that once the popular consensus, it seemed like everybody agreed we were going to $40, $37 a barrel.
Right.
I was like, all right. Contrary to what Netflix did, usually when everyone's on one side, it's never going to work out. So everyone was saying oil's terrible, and they were even talking about it yesterday, how oil was still terrible. I was like, all right, I'm going to let this thing ride. UWTI, obviously percentage-wise, was a lot better than USO. UWTI we had from 185.
Yeah, you guys had the low. I believe you guys had the low on that, right? 185 and change. So that's a double right there.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But I still got some USO. But really what I like is this rig/X trade that I found. You know, obviously I can see the correlation why U.S. steel moves up with oil. They're building oil rigs and they need steel.
Okay.
I thought steel had more to do with other industries, but it seems like it's just tied to oil right now. So whatever. When oil starts moving, U.S. steel gets strong, and so does rig. And I just been trading the three together, and it's been a pretty decent trade. Now, the other day, and the reason I'm not, overly excited about this, and just based on the market, I thought the market was ready to, have another push down. So I didn't know how aggressive I wanted to get on steel and, rig, and I had some AIG, and I never got back into the Qs, but it's a really, really bizarro market when you look at it from the surface, but then after the fact, it always seems to make sense. Right. And what I'm thinking now is like, oh yeah, that's right. Sector rotation. That's why we don't go down.
Right. That's it. That's the name of the game. We just rotate into a new, a new group of names. And in this case, we got financials and we got oil and gas. So let's move on here to financials. You were talking about AIG breaking out over whatever, these 4-year highs. Take a look at JPM. Look at Goldman Sachs. Let me tell you something about me and my relationship with Goldman Sachs, man. Look at November of last year. That's when they really started pumping, like, listen, we're going to move up this interest rate increase. And then you all of a sudden, like, saw a lot of money started to go in there. And then all of a sudden, Goldman Sachs had the worst shakeout ever, from almost hitting $200 down to maybe like 170. Down to maybe like 170, screwed everybody. And then maybe in like 10 days, came all the way back to 190 and then put in a monster consolidation area.
Right.
And as soon as this thing that got like to 193 and I'm looking at it, I'm about to buy it. Right, Kenny? I queued up everything and I'm like, I'm about to buy this thing. And then all those feelings came back from when I got crushed in November and December, bro. And I couldn't buy it. I saw it go to 195, and it was just lazy. It was just lazy every day. And just like you said, like, you couldn't really get long the markets. Like, SPY was just acting lazy. The SPOOs were acting horrible. So we broke out and then came back and retested like 208.5. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have time on this Goldman. Don't worry about it. I'm going to have time. And lo and behold, today you look at this thing at 202. Finally punked it. JP Morgan crushing. And then even Wells Fargo coming back today as well. So we still have 2 bank earnings tomorrow, which is Goldman, I believe, and Citigroup, I think. But these were huge moves, huge rotation in the financials. Are you looking at financials as well going forward? I remember you talking about your AIG.
Yeah, well, basically I stick with AIG, and I've been waiting for Bank of America to do something again. But Bank of America has been, deader than dead also.
Is Bank of America is the worst. So she reported today. She reported this morning, beat earnings, and this thing is the dog of all dogs. This is like the UNG of finance, bro. This is like the fucking shittiest ETF that you could pick. This is like the UVXY of fucking finance, bro.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what it is. I'm really afraid, though. I'm really afraid for this name right now, just by the price action alone. It's like they're really leaving this thing in the dust right now. And if Bank of America, gets down to, let's say, $10, I feel like that's a problem. That's a problem for the market, too.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going back down 50% from here, but
yeah,
let's just look at the sector overall, getting healthier.
Sure.
And if we got financials and energy coming back, there's another 1,000 points for the Dow, like it or not.
Like it or not, like it or not, everybody, like it or not.
Whether or not Apple's going along for the ride, and just imagine Apple reports a good number, that's at 150. The Qs are back to 112, and the Dow will be at 19,000. Next thing you know, it'll be 20,000 by the end of the year. I mean, that's how it goes. Just as we were thinking, this market looks like it's setting up for something. No. If the VIX is going down, the market's going up. The VIX is going to 0, and until I see a VIX spike that lasts more than a half an hour, I will be on the Dow 20,000. I'm still on the Dow 20,000 bandwagon. I just need to learn how to you know, like you said, it's hard to revisit those names that you got beat up on.
Yep.
And I can't believe what today I was almost about to trade the Russian fucking Google. Yandex.
Oh, really? What's that? What's the ticker on that one?
YNDX.
YNDX.
Every time I press the button, that Russian voice goes off in my head. Don't you fucking touch this stock, little bitch. Don't you remember how we slapped the fuck out of you last time? For 3 days now, I'm like, nah, and up and up and up it goes, just like the RSX, everything Russian's doing well.
Yep.
And even the other version of Yandex is the Yoku. Even that stock. But again, when Yandex and Yoku are like strong and some of these shitty names, it always gives you that extra, another moment of pause. Like, if these shitty names are moving, does that mean that does it bode well for the market? But again, I'm really just going to focus on this VIX and the fact that it just cannot rally, cannot sustain a bid. And for everyone that's hanging on to this UVXY, guys, you're in a disintegrating product that's eventually going to be zero. They're going to reverse split it, and it's going to go back to zero again. It's not the VIX. It's a tracking stock that is built to go to zero. If you're going to trade the VIX, it's an intraday thing.
It's amazing. It's amazing how many times we have to keep reiterating the same shit, though. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing how many times we have to keep telling people, like, what the fuck are you doing being long this UVX? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing right now? It's amazing how much we have to say that. And it's also amazing how many times we have to reaffirm people that the market can still go up without Apple. You know, I've been getting that question every single day. Can I buy Apple now? Can I buy Apple now? Can I buy Apple now? Like, dude, guys, get with the sector rotation here. You can see the money flow going into other names. You know, today was a big opportunity to capitalize on a whole other sector. You know, so you gotta get used to rolling in and out of things for like a 2-3 day period. You know what I mean? 2-3 day period.
Right.
Ooh, sometimes it's even 1 day now. Sometimes it's even 1.5 days. But you got to be ready to move when you need to, and when your name or when your sector, you know, you just start to see lackluster activity, just like what's happening in Apple right now. That's it. It's time to go find another horse, guys. Interact on Twitter. Anybody that has any questions or names that you guys want us to take a look at, throw it ahead in the chat box or hit us up on Twitter at Sang Lucci and at Hit the Bid Radio. Kenny, what else you got, man?
You know, I'm just kind of. Wasn't ready to trade this week. Just got back from vacation.
You feel kind of bummed. Yeah, you feel kind of bummed. You feel a little bit slow right now.
Yeah, and again, you know, if you guys are out there, and you probably know what I'm talking about. When you're trading, you feel like there's somebody watching you, and even just taking the other side of your trade, or waiting for you to finally give up on that trade and just get the hell out. I mean, the stories that I can tell will make you fucking weep. But just right, and the reason I don't get upset about it anymore, because it happens every freaking day. So it's not like it's not something bizarre anymore. But I had Mobileye and GoPro into the close yesterday. I'm like, I ain't holding this shit overnight. You got to be kidding me. They both get upgraded.
I'm long go. But here's the thing. Here's the flip side here, Kenny. And again, like, you know, stock versus options. And so it's a different world. So I'm long GoPro, right? 100 contracts into the close, right? And I got the 45 weekly calls. They close it around like 45 cents, 50 cents, right? They open up at $1.30, right? Stock rips to like 46 and change. I'm looking at buyers at $2 on this thing. Okay, there's maybe like 400 contracts go off at $2, and then all of a sudden there's no buying for the rest of the day. So everybody just peters out of the thing completely. You know what I mean? And then I ended up buying some next week's too. I rolled into next week's thinking like, okay, let's keep this thing going. Let's keep this thing going. So I mean, I'm up a little on it, but I was up like 15 grand on the thing, and she pulled back a good point from the highs, man. So this is still a pretty tough name to trade. It wasn't like the X. It wasn't like the Intel today. It wasn't like any of these other names, these oil and gas names that just kept ripping into the close. You know, this one's a little bit different, man. It reminds me of Baba. It's still one of those dogs that still needs to get a bid, you know?
And Baba, there's another one today. It looked really strong, broke out, and then just hits a wall and collapses every day. It's the same thing with the stock.
There's some news pops out on it. There was some news about some takeover with Kihu or some shit like that. Some of the other Chinese ding dong names.
Right.
And then bam, it just gave up completely. So, you know, this is what you get. Like Baba, you had that 2 days, 83 to 87, and then you just get this flat line, you know, this little beep, 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 beep. You get caught in that chop sometimes. That'll ruin you. That'll ruin you. Unfortunately, that's the pitfall of most traders out here.
right? And what you do is so much. I'm not going to say it's easy, but when I'm trading these stocks, you know, I'm trying to put on, you know, a little bit extra size, and you got to live in the moment.
Right.
With options, at least in this market, you can put up the money. You know what you're risking. You know your time frame. It just takes a little bit more, a little bit less so that it takes more of the stress off instead of having to sit here, be glued to the terminal, put your stops on. And nothing's worse than getting stopped out of something for 13 cents and then it progresses to go up $1.
Right.
Chances are, if you were in the options, you're just saying, all right, $27 calls on U.S. Steel. Let's do this. And usually you're not trading it for the day unless you get this monster pop.
Right.
Same thing with AIG. You know, I went out and with the PBR, I went out to June. I was like, I'll buy some June 7s. If this thing recovers, it could go to $10. The June 7s were 70 cents. But once again, you buy something at 70 cents and it goes to $1.20 a day later. Yeah. Percentage gains are just, they're
absurd. They are absurd, man. So they are absurd.
I have to take it off the table, especially, you know. And AIG, I was so happy. I actually caught the high print on my AIG calls.
Yeah.
And of course, that was only for maybe 20 minutes, and then
yeah. See, that's the thing. Like when you talk to stock guys about options, you know, that start messing around with it, you know, they have nothing but great things to say. When you talk to, let's say, newbie options guys that go straight into options and are hitting like 100% winners and 200% winners, if it's like a 30% winner, you'll see them in the chat rooms like, this shit ain't moving. Like, dude, come on, man.
I know. You know. And it's a lot different if you're trading like, you know, on a Friday expiration, you're buying like 100 contracts at $1 at 10 cents. They go up 4 cents. Then you're feeling, all right, let me get the hell out.
Right.
You know? And then it kind of makes sense. You know, you're taking that quick 40%. But a lot of times, if you make 40% the next day in your option, you should take something off. But generally, you're onto something good. It's probably going to be that 200, 300%er.
Right.
It just.
Yeah, the problem is the timing, and then it's also selecting the right expiration. I mean, these are difficult things to do because, again, like you could try over and over and over again before you hit this X correctly, for example. Like I remember us talking about X before, and she ripped quick up to 25, and then she's been doing nothing for like a week and a half, you know? Right. Where you literally could have bought in at the highs every time and lost money and completely lost money. And until you get the whole herd moving into the sector, which we finally saw yesterday on this X and a lot of other oil gas names as well, and then you get to follow through today, you know, everybody who's trying to find the entry for that move is going to end up burned into the options. You know what I mean? In the sense that you're buying this week for 50 cents or $1 or whatever, those things are going to go to zero with you or without you, you know? And then you got to come back, though. You got to come back and get the move when it's there, and you have to make that money back. That's the thing with options. So the idea is to sit there, piddle around, try not to lose that much, and then when you get that big picture move or rotation into your sector, name or whatever, you got to be there to take that money and then some. That's the problem there with options. So it ain't all honky dory, man. It ain't all great.
Well, you trade partially for the day and then partially to hang on for.
Yes.
Right. I'm going to start starting to get away from the stock itself because I can just use this platform that I use and just, you know, I like using my scanners and all that. But again, once you're in a stock, you know, like Chesapeake yesterday, I'm buying 8,000 shares of Chesapeake and then I'm staring at it for half an hour. It's going up and down 3 cents. So I'm like, all right. Next time I get 3 cents out of it, I'm selling it. And then it goes back down 3 cents. I'm like, all right, I guess. And then it rips into the close. If I had just bought the $15 call like I wanted to originally, I'd still be in them today. Because, you know, I was giving myself, you know, 2 weeks. But here I'm sitting there and I made 3 cents. It's absurd. That's why I like options. I just have to get back into the whole.
Yeah, you got to get used to it. That's the other thing. Like, you know, for traders who have been around for a while, like you're used to what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like you're used to what you're doing. It's become habitual. So when you sit down every day, you look at the market like you look at it. You don't look at it any other way. You don't look at it. You say to yourself in your head, these ideas go off in your head like, oh shit, I should probably look at those options right now. But you're still not ready to do it because you still in that you're not in that mind frame yet. It's weird. It takes a while to push towards, you know, a different strategy or to test out a lot of things. And I think that's why automation has gotten so popular because it allows somebody to fuck with all kinds of different strategies while essentially with themselves, they could only do one. You know what I mean? They could only do one. Like I know, for example, I'm only good at a couple things. That's it. You know, and sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. You know, when I'm on top of my game, those things are going to work out. But that's it. You know, the more I try to bounce around to so many other strategies, you know, that's when the shit starts hitting the fan, man.
Right. Hey, I'll tell you the one thing that I've been doing that's been working out. I mean, I got some time, but the UVXY, like I was talking about, that's a broken product.
Just selling the calls, you're saying?
Selling calls naked on the UVXY. Now, it sounds like it's a stupid idea. What if something happens?
Right.
Dude, there's bids still, and I've been saying this for months now, probably since the day we met. January 2016 calls on the UVXY, the 200s, people. The stock's at $11. The 200s were bid. Let's start from the beginning. When the stock was $40
bucks, yeah.
200s were $9.
$9, yeah.
With 11 months to go, I was like, I'm selling one just to see if this is real. So I sell one.
You're like, I gotta sell it. I
think it went to like $11 the next day. I was like, oh God, what have I done? And then it goes back to $6, and I was like, all right, let me take my $300.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, maybe this is something. Maybe I'm onto something here. So then I sold 5 at $6. I sold 4 at $3. You know, then I started selling 1 a day. I just put myself on the offer just to see if it was real. I still couldn't believe it. They're 30 cents now.
They're 30 cents now, yeah.
And they still shouldn't be 30 cents. So when I was selling 1 point at 9, I sold 20 more the other day at 42 cents because I'm thinking, there's no way.
There's no way.
They're going to 200, let alone, let's see if they can even get back to 17 where they broke down from.
Right.
And we're talking, I sold $85 calls for January at 40 cents. This is not going to 85.
Yeah.
There's no way. I don't care if the market crashes. Maybe they go to 40.
Right, but if it does go to 40, you still get that IV pop. So you still eventually might be down, let's say, 100% of your fucking money.
Yeah.
You know, and you still might have to average in. So that shit still gets pretty scary. And here's the other thing. And everybody out there with selling naked calls. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be spot on, and that option is going to go to 0. That 10th time, provided you haven't hedged properly or whatever the case is, that 10th time can ruin the whole 9 other times and then some. Why? Because you're selling naked and there's nothing there. There's nothing there behind you. So it's not like buying a call at $1 and losing the whole $1. That's it. You're going to lose the $1.
Right.
When you sell a joint for $1 and it goes to 20, you are fucked. You are fucked beyond the definition of being fucked. Beyond snatch. When the dogs are chasing the rabbit and they're talking about getting proper fucked. All right, that's beyond that kind of fucked. Okay? That's what's gonna happen to you. So again, like, make sure you're hedged properly. Again, selling naked though in certain situations for traders like him and I, because we're so active and we're watching the market every single day. Unless some wild shit happens overnight, we're pretty good. You know, we're pretty much good. And as long as we're okay taking that risk, you know, we're good, you know. So I will say that as sort of a disclaimer there.
The nearest strike price that I have sold is the September 60s that I sold at $2.
Yeah.
September 60s, still not going to 60. The only time I'm going to be worried about the UVXY is if they do a reverse split, it's going to just fuck everything up. I'm going to have to do math and take, you know, what these options are now readjusted at. I'm probably going to close it all out if they do another split anytime soon. Hopefully it doesn't happen until, you know, September or what. Maybe they'll let it go a year. But normally it splits every 8 months because it goes back to $2 and they split and they do it again.
Right.
Just keep your eye on this, guys. I mean, this is free money.
Free money. Essentially, it's free money. And guys, for the bigger accounts out there, provided you're there you're watching SLTV on a motherfucking Wednesday. For the bigger accounts out there, this is a great strategy. You know, there are a lot of funds out there that are doing this right now, and they're doing it pretty well. All they do is just write far out of the money strikes where they can get some good premium on. They got their tape reading. They're watching the things that they need to watch, and that's all they're doing. They're just scraping all these cents. They're just scraping all these pennies. You know, and it's a pretty good strategy over time. Guys, any other questions here? Throw us out on Twitter or hit us in the chat room. Kenny, we got a couple questions here. We got some solar questions here. My girl Julie here, who's in the SL chat room, she's talking about SCTY for a swing. First Solar obviously was looking really good today. Solar City is kind of in this consolidation little funk here. So it wasn't First Solar. First Solar finally broke out. What do you think of this SCTY? Are you in the solars at all?
No, but it hit a triple top today on SCTY.
On
so
SCTY here.
Yeah, if you can get past that 56.79, you could for another 3 or 4 points on it. Yeah.
Right. Plus,
I like it because it's Tesla related. So whatever he does is usually turns out to be.
You're an Elon Musk fuckboy then, huh? You're one of those guys. Did you watch the whole SpaceX thing?
No, I didn't watch it.
Look at you.
I'm
Elon. All right, so that's SCTY. I would take a look at this First Solar. This First Solar back up around the 70s here looks pretty good here. Breakout looks pretty good, provided the market holds, which it should. And by the way, through earnings season, we're going to be really choppy. So if you notice today, like SPY had that pump in the morning, and then we ended up closing like basically where we did a couple of days before, 210.5. So I'm assuming we're going to chop around for quite some time. Some earnings will be good, some earnings will be bad, but we'll just hang around here and then slowly push to those all-time highs. We got another one for Shake Shack. When are the options open up for Shake Shack? We got at Odd Stock Trader here saying, I will bet you a cheesesteak $80 before May 31st. I think we were bitching and moaning about this Shake Shack the other day. Did you see this for the last couple of days? I haven't even looked at this. Look at this for the last couple of days, bro.
When did the stock get to $60? It was 39 when I left.
Well, it's at 60 freaking bucks, man. Jeez. So the IPO, guys, was were actually the opening price of the stock was probably around 47, somewhere around 47 or so. And stock got back down to like 39, and now the last 2 days, I haven't even looked at this, so I don't even know what the hell is going on.
Since I saw it under 40.
Wow, $60. Options usually open after 3 months. They should actually be open for this thing. They're not open for this? That's whack, man. I don't know
how long it's been, but I don't know. This is another momentum. This is another Polo Loco again, but a little bit better than Polo Loco, I guess.
It's Pollo. Pollo.
Right.
Boyo, that actually reminds me of a great story. I go to a Mexican restaurant in the burbs, right? And you know, you go to these Mexican restaurants, and let's face it, here it's all white people now that are serving the food and making the food and everything, right? And I'm like, I'm there with my daughter's family, right? A Hispanic family. And we're looking at the menu, and I'm like, I'll have the arroz con pollo, right? And she's like, oh, the arroz with polo? And you know, her, you know, she's all looking at her like, dude, is this woman crazy? Is this woman absolutely out of her fucking mind? But that's it. Nobody, you know, that's it. We're serving. It's like Mexican is white food now. Mexican has now become American food now.
Well, Taco Bell Americanized it right away, right there. I mean, Taco Bell, come on.
Yum. Actually, that was a good name. Actually, recently, I believe that one was a ripper as well. Yeah, take a look at Yum here for the past couple of days. This one looks good. They own, I believe they own Taco Bell. You know, I haven't had Taco Bell in a while. All right, so we got Eric Mikas here on Twitter at EHM Investments. He's saying Tesla 260. How close are we? I'll leave it to the fuck boy to comment on Tesla 260.
Oh, Tesla. All I know is that, you know.
Are you ready to buy this thing? That's my question to you. Are you ready to buy this thing?
I will not buy unless I get a chance at 195 again. But
really,
if I wanted to buy a stock and own a stock for the next 5 years, I'd still own Tesla right now. I don't care what anyone says. I think it's going to be not only is it going to go to 400, not only it's going to go to 800, it's going to go to $1,200. It's going to split, and then it's going to split again. This is 20 years from now, the stock's going to be worth $20,000, and they're still not going to be selling any cars.
Okay, but
he's going to invent something new, and it's going to be the Tesla something. And not only are we going to own the car company, but we're going to own this company. But not for nothing. I'm going to get a Tesla. So
you are gonna get a Tesla.
I'm getting one.
That's your little dream. That's your little dream. You're gonna get a.
I was in them. I just came back from Miami. There was Teslas everywhere.
For real?
One of these because you can get a really super looking one for like $85,000.
Yeah.
I'm just concerned. I can't really have it as my first or second car because I can go on some decent sized trips and I don't have to be worried about plugging this thing in. So
yeah.
We'll see.
I mean, they'll figure that out, right? They'll figure that out. They're not that far from figuring that out. You know, right? A couple of years. You give them a couple of years, you can, you be scooting around America with that thing.
Right. And what they're going to invent, they're going to invent a solar-powered Tesla car charger.
Oh, see, now you need to shut the fuck up.
Look,
see,
I'm done. Solar City Tesla car portable car charger, or make the window pane itself a solar panel, so your car self-charges itself. And you never need a charge. Boom! Hire me!
All right. Moving on here. What's your thoughts on Caterpillar? This is one of the big Dow industrials. This name has been beaten up for a while. We got a question here from iShack213. What's your thoughts on Caterpillar? Any relation to oil and gas? I don't think so. I mean, you see they came into some of these industrial names as well today. So you see this Caterpillar getting bid up, but I don't know. Something's different with this Caterpillar. I don't know. These big Dow names don't seem that enticing anymore. I mean, this Intel still looks pretty good. I mean, you saw the action in this Intel, but some of these other big Dow industrials, they don't look that good, man.
Well, I'm feeling overly bullish right now, and I know that's a reason to be skeptical most of the time. But right now, I think that this market is just going to, like you were saying, stay in this range. But when we break out of this range, I don't think we're breaking down. I think it's going to break out again. It's going to take all the ships. You know, Caterpillar should be 88, and then if it gets to that 88, we're looking at. I see the stock easily. Let's conservatively say right at $90.50.
Yeah.
And it could be if this market decides to break out, it'll be there sooner before later.
Right, guys, and more on what Kenny was saying as far as the breakout. All it is now is just a matter of rotating into the right sectors. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of reading the tape, reading the activity, rolling to the names that have been lackluster while taking profits out of the names that are really rolling out there. So right now you got the banks, you got the oil, you got the gas. Now maybe with the Netflix earnings here, maybe that moves money back into the momos. So tomorrow, you can start jacking up your social media names, some of the other crazy internet names, and then just so on and so forth, So that's what you got to do in a bull market. That's what you got to do in a bull market. Now, my issue was, especially in 2014 and beginning of 2015, is playing for this big washout. You know what I mean? Is being predominantly short, hoping or assuming here that indexes would just break down and we would just kind of collapse a bit before we just caught up with things. But SPY totally bucked that completely. And that happened off that day where, you remember it was Good Friday. And those jobs numbers came out, and we tanked 20 handles on those numbers.
And then we did nothing the Monday.
And then we did motherfucking nothing. And Monday you came in, and that was the breakout. That was the big breakout. That was that was the big breakout. Of course. Why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't it be right there?
I will tell you why that happened.
Talk to me.
Since 9/11.
Oh, here we go.
If we don't have any terrorist attack over a holiday weekend, the market goes up that day. And when we get back, it's the post 9/11 holiday, no terror, gap and go. It's been working since 9/11. Everyone's so happy that nothing happened over the holiday weekend. They got to spend time with their families. They come back and they buy stocks.
There you go.
That trumped everything. And once we couldn't hold that gap down and we started rallying, once again, guys like me who were waiting for this market to go down had to say, fuck this, I'm not getting caught. Because I'm a shorter, okay?
Yes.
So, but I'm also the first guy to cover because I refuse to lose money shorting stocks in a bull market. But when it happens, the VIX will give us a clue. Let's see a VIX go up more than fucking 4 hours. In 10 days, it's gone up maybe 4 hours. It's ridiculous. The VIX is the deadest thing. The market's not going down without the VIX going up. So leave it at that. But back to the sector rotation. Throughout all this nonsense, all this chaos, and people who feel like they've missed the bull market, and, I don't want to get involved in stocks, there are so many stocks still coming off lows like this PBR. PBR, people. Stock was $6.
PBR. Is that Petrobras or that's not Petrobras?
Yeah, Petrobras.
That
Be
is pet shop.
investigated. They're not a real company. They're criminals working there. They're the government conspiracies. Blah blah blah. Stock went from $20 down to $5. Next thing you know, they get an infusion of cash. A couple of guys got arrested. Boom! Shorts are gonna have to cover because now it's they're not going out of business. Boom! Let's start covering. We got in this thing we got in at 6:45 on this in the stock, and we bought the June $7 calls, thinking, all right, this thing could possibly get to $10. That's what's making this market phenomenal. No matter what, you're going to find 2 or 3 stocks that you weren't thinking about today. We have no idea. And then you're going to look at a chart and say, holy shit, look at this bitch coming back. Like SPCB. What's up?
PCB? Who the fuck even trades this garbage? Look at this super comp.
My Israeli security company.
Oh, there you go. Investing in the Krav Maga.
Yeah, Mobileye, SPCB. All their stocks are doing well. These Israelis got some good stuff. SPCB flying under the radar. It just did nothing for months and months and months. Had good earnings reports 3 times in a row. Nobody cares about the stock, and suddenly just woke up. And you just ride. You ride when they wake up, and that's what this market's all about. And tomorrow there'll be 5 other stocks that you're like, oh my god, I can't believe this is going.
Yep. Same, and rinse and repeat. All right, guys, let's wrap things up. Let's leave them with an outlook for the rest of the week until next Wednesday. Here, what do you got, man? What do you got for them? What are you looking at for the rest of the week?
I'll give you a freaking outlook.
Yo, stop! You're already freaking me the fuck out.
Here's what's gonna happen. Here's what's gonna happen with Netflix.
Yo, your face is too red right now. It's too red.
Netflix is gonna open up at 5:42.
Oh shit!
Run 7 points.
Oh shit!
549.95.
Okay.
And then we're all gonna short that bitch as it backs back down to 532 and close. That's my plan. My crystal ball.
Guys, by the way, you're coming in on a Thursday, so weekly options in Netflix. If you got some balls here, that's going to be the thing to trade for the next 2 days. It really will.
If it gets to 549 and doesn't break the 550, boom, pay the $5 or $6 for your 550 puts for Friday, and let's make 15 points on that thing. There's got to be some profit taking. I mean, again, that's speaking from a rational thought. Doesn't work.
Of course.
Rational thought, somebody's going to want to take something off the table tomorrow, especially at 550. This thing gaps up another 18 points from here. Can't get above that 550. Boom, buy those 550s right at the open.
No doubt. All right. So yeah, I think both of us definitely trade Netflix. Kenny, you have something else, though?
Yeah, other than that, I mean, it's all systems go. I'm just looking for these beat down Zillows. I mean, hello, how about a 14-point recovery once they report their whatever they had to say? Stocks that haven't been participating eventually will participate. When the market starts to get strong like this, every piece of shit starts to work. Like Cliff, hello, somebody bought 20
CLF.
Somebody bought 20,000 calls. They made a ton. BTU came back to life. Even A&R.
So these coals, by the way, for anybody who hasn't, been watching the coal names as well, I mean, again, the oil and gas and energies and materials, along with the X, like coals have gotten destroyed. So if you look at the ANR, you look at the BTU, what the fuck else is it? WLT, the Walter, I think is another one. Like these names are done, destroyed. But even these things got bid up as well. So in a big bull market, again, people need things to buy. So funds need shit to buy. So they'll just sit there and rotate into whatever, all right? Even at some point, somebody has to buy this shitty Bank of America.
I'm with you. It'll go. But I also am waiting for Alibaba. I'm very curious on this next earnings report. If it doesn't hold 80 on the next report, it's going to $66.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna be done with it. And I just still find this to be the most absurd story of the last 18 months on Alibaba. Now the reason they're saying the stock is being held back is because of the counterfeit goods. That's
counterfeit goods,
fucking bullshit. Yeah. All I knew, and I'm just an idiot on the internet, I know nothing. When I heard Alibaba, Alibaba's coming, I was like, what? Isn't that the stock where you could buy fake Gucci bags from China? Yes. So I wasn't the only person that knew. Nobody was talking about that when the stock was opening up, and it's going to 120. Jack Ma.
You should have seen the price target. Yo, Jack Ma was like an all-star. He was a damn all-star.
Yeah.
He was on every picture everywhere. He was on the CNBC floor all the time, 24/7. There was price targets for 150 on this Baba, and they got the big old.
I'm not taking sides, but if it does break 80,
I hear that
going down, and if this thing, if they could get a squeeze going, dude, everybody's gonna come pouring back into that stock if they could just get going.
Yep. Yeah, he's like Reed Hastings right now when he split the stock. He's like Reed Hastings right now, and then all of a sudden a year later he's gonna be oh my god, it's Jack Ma,
Right, we'll see.
No doubt. All right, so things I'm looking at, rotation back into some of the social media names. If you guys look at Twitter and Facebook, these things are they still can't catch a bid. So I'm still waiting on something here. The Baba, obviously, for a dip buy. Still looking for more upside on the GoPro. I'd like to see this thing at 47 and 48. I'm holding calls for this week and for next week. So I'm still going to continue to hold on to those. I like, obviously, the Momo names after Netflix reported here. And then we still got the banks. So, I'm trading in and out of these big names. Honestly, I look at Goldman Sachs. I look at JP Morgan. I look at Citigroup. Like, these names have consolidated and done jack shit for the longest time. They have not participated in these big rallies in the market whatsoever. Right. For the most part, you look at the JP Morgan, you look at the AIG, like these things have been stuck doing nothing for the longest time. If this sector starts to really break out, forget about it, man. Like you'll look at this Goldman Sachs within a year at $225. You look at this Morgan Stanley.
AIG should be about a $75 stock. I think it's going to tack on another 15, 20 points here.
Right, exactly. You got this Morgan Stanley here, which is already a bullish name. You got Wells Fargo, which those two have already been sort of bullish. But this JP Morgan, just the activity in this JP Morgan, I mean, wow.
I want to make another point about your GoPro.
Sure.
It wasn't too long ago where you and I were high-fiving how we were short in GoPro and this thing's going down to under 40.
Yes.
Guys, this is what makes us traders. We don't care about what we said in the past and how adamant we were. This is to all you fuckers out there that give me a hard time. Oh, what about your GoPro now? What about it? Now more. What about your fucking Alcoa? I thought it was going to be $17 by April. What happened? What happened to your US Steel? I thought it was going to be $50. Shut up. I just try to do whatever's presented to me.
That's it.
At the time.
That is it.
I think I love Cliff. The stock will probably be at 0 within another 6 months or a year. But the last 2 days, let's get as much Cliff as we can. You got to love the stock.
Yep.
What about your fucking Alcoa? Yeah, small asshole. I sold that shit in October, dickbag. I mean, that's what I get these 3 idiots that hound me on my YouTube videos.
But it's not even 3. I got 13,000 followers on Twitter, and I get hounded all the time. Like if you guys have noticed too, I've started to talk a lot less on Twitter, and that's going to be a recurring thing for the year.
Oh, you're afraid. That's why you're afraid to put up, right? You're afraid to make calls, right?
It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. So I'm just going to focus on the money. I'm going to focus on my team out here in the Sang Lucci chat room. By the way, guys, check it out. We just rolled out a completely new room, working with Wall Street Jesus right now on a lot of cool options order flow kind of thing. 4 days ago, Morgan Stanley had some massive call buying on it out to May. It was kind of an earnings bet, but then it just kept compounding, and you take a look at this thing today, it's just a monster move. So, again, I'm just going to focus on my crew, you know what I mean? And just leave this Twitter nonsense to me just saying outlandish shit, and I don't give a fuck. I don't give a give a flying fuck anymore about what anybody said. I'm like over it. I used to care. It used to hurt me.
Yeah, I used to hurt me. I'm only going to make videos about imminent collapse. Like everybody else. The guys who talk about imminent collapse, they get 40,000 views on their video.
Yes.
I talk about a market that only goes up and how you should be buying this and buying that and how you can make money. And I get 500, 700 views or 1,000 views. But end of days, it's coming. Buy the VIX, buy gold, buy silver.
We got to get some of those videos out there. You got some good production on some of your other videos, man. So let's link up. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can come up with.
Yeah, well, I'll be coming into you guys on Tuesday, so I'll wait for you guys. We'll do some stuff out in the street. It'll be a lot of fun.
All right, sounds good, man. Yo, Kenny, thanks, and I will check you, you know, in the internet world tomorrow.
Yeah, well, actually, link me up. I'll come hang out tomorrow. I know you guys sent me a link to your room. I don't know where the hell it is, but
of course,
I'll hit you up in the morning.
All right, man. Later, guys. Thank you for joining. And you guys can catch the video, obviously, on YouTube and all the old episodes as well. Make sure to comment. Make sure to comment. Throw your questions on Twitter and everything. We're going to be doing this Wednesday now. Every Wednesday, just me and Kenny for a little bit longer, talking shit about the markets and whatever we happen to roll into. So have a good night, everybody. And Netflix tomorrow. Netflix tomorrow.
Yeah, we already missed 12 points off the high, but I'm hoping to gap it right back to that spot we nailed.
We'll see. You'll get it. You'll get it. All right, later.